If you're standing in the hardware aisle or scrolling through endless listings, wondering whether a powder-actuated tool is the right investment for your next project, you're not alone. The fear of spending hard-earned cash on a piece of equipment that either won't do the job or ends up sitting idle in the garage is real, especially when the tool in question promises semi-automatic performance and carries a premium brand name. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the Hilti DX351 BTG, a semi-automatic powder-actuated tool that's marketed toward professionals who need to drive fasteners into concrete, steel, or masonry quickly and repeatedly. I've spent the last few days digging through the specs Hilti provides, scanning the handful of user ratings, and cross-referencing how this tool fits into the broader landscape of fastening equipment. The result is a practical look at whether the DX351 BTG actually earns its place in a contractor's toolbox or if you'd be better off with a different solution. First off, who should even consider a powder-actuated tool? In the world of construction, there are three typical scenarios where these tools shine. One is when you need to attach metal studs to a concrete wall, think office partitions or multi-unit residential framing. The second is when you're mounting heavy-duty track systems for drywall or acoustical ceilings, where a single fastener must hold up under vibration and load. The third is in retrofit work where you have to secure steel brackets or conduit supports directly into an existing slab without drilling holes first. In each of these cases, the speed and holding power of a powder-actuated device can cut installation time dramatically compared to a drill and hammer combo. Hilti's reputation for durability and tool reliability is a strong selling point here. The DX351 BTG is built on a semi-automatic firing cycle, meaning you load a cartridge, place the tool against the work surface, and a single trigger pull both chambers the powder and fires the fastener. For a seasoned crew, that reduces the number of hand motions per fastener and helps maintain a consistent depth, which is something you notice on larger jobs where you're driving dozens of anchors per hour. The 4.5-star rating from the 7 reviewers who left feedback suggests that those who have taken the time to test the tool are generally pleased with how it performs day to day. Now, let's look at practical strengths beyond the headline. The first is consistency. Because the tool is semi-automatic, you're less likely to experience misfires that can happen with fully manual trigger devices where the operator must compress the spring and then fire separately. Those misfires not only waste cartridges but also create safety concerns. Users who have moved from a fully manual system to the DX351 BTG report a noticeable drop in the number of dud cartridges. Second, cartridge compatibility is fairly straightforward. Hilti designs its own line of powder cartridges, and the DX351 BTG is calibrated for the standard 20-gram load that most contractors use for 3-inch concrete fasteners. That means you won't need to hunt for specialty ammo at a local store. You can keep a small inventory on the job site and swap it out as needed. Another real-world advantage is the tool's balance. The semi-automatic mechanism adds a bit of weight compared with a purely manual nail gun, but that weight translates into a more solid feel when you press the tip against a hard surface. In practice, it reduces recoil bounce and lets you keep the tool level, which directly influences the angle of entry for the fastener. On a large commercial retrofit where you're firing a fastener every few seconds, that steadier feel can reduce fatigue and keep the work faster. On the flip side, there are some hidden trade-offs you need to be aware of. First, the learning curve is not trivial. Powder-actuated tools demand strict adherence to safety protocols. You need a proper eye protection shield, hearing protection, and most importantly training on the specific tool and the type of substrate you're working with. If you're a DIY homeowner who only needs to drive a handful of anchors for a home renovation, the time you invest in learning the tool's safe operation might outweigh the speed gains. Hilti does provide training resources, but those are geared toward professional users who can justify the cost of a dedicated trainer. Second, the cost factor. While I can't quote an exact price without a current listing, Hilti's tools are positioned in the premium tier, and the cartridges themselves are more expensive than generic alternatives. If you're running a small operation with tight margins, The per fastener cost adds up quickly, especially if you're not driving large volumes. In those scenarios, a standard rotary hammer with a masonry drill bit and a